Anushka. That was, of course, that had days when I had some hair. Haven't got any now, so I shave it. Works really well. Okay, we're up and running. You'll have to bear with me. I've just come over to the dark side on the Apple Mac situation, so if I need some help, I'm sure there'll be all of you up here helping me run my computer. Just as a bit of a background for me, have we in the room, have we got mainly marketing agency people? Can you just put up your hand if you're marketing agency? Yeah. And basically, there's not many marketing agency people, are there? Where else is everybody else from? Where are you all from? Yell it out. Thank you. Yep, good one. Sorry? Private enterprise, yep, okay, so general, yeah, I can relate to that. They're pretty private. Okay, I'll kick off then. We had to obviously define the development pathway because that had never been defined, about where do we get the kids, how do they come into the system, how do we encourage them. Identify the gaps and opportunities in all sorts of areas, in development, sponsorship, those sorts of things. Decide what was going to be effective. Document, obviously, and communicate that plan both to ourselves and to the people that are able to help us. And develop a bit of a structure around that plan so that we can achieve it and put, I guess, the resources behind all those sorts of things to make sure they happen. The board meetings that I alluded to in our synopsis, I suppose, were really about having people around the table that were, for me, really good advisors. And so our organisation had always had lots of volunteers that were the local plumber, the mum who'd been helping the kids get into surfing, a whole range of skills, but not necessarily related to business development. And so part of what we had in place very early when I started was an advisory board, and this applies, I think this applies to all businesses and all individuals who are looking to grow or increase their ability and their profitability, is to have people that are just so experienced that they ask you the hard questions, not the easy questions, and they motivate you to do the work that needs to happen and not go off on tangents. And so what we had was an advisory board made up of a guy who is a fast growth business manager, some senior government people, and basically they've had a lot of experience with project management, business development generally, and senior business analysts as well, so the people who know the finances inside out, so they can look at a spreadsheet and without having any explanation get to the heart of what is wrong, right or indifferent. And we've been lucky to have a couple of really good people there, one from Santos and another lady from MHM who are invaluable to us that way. And we've had an ex-CEO of a not-for-profit. So basically those people have helped me, I guess, reality check some of our ideas, work on strategies, and also connect us with people who we might need to implement our plans. And I can say that that's been one of the most effective things. We only meet 4 times a year, and those meetings are for an hour, and they are probably the best thing that I could have to make sure that we keep on track and grow. Of course, the occasional weekend board meeting happens down the coast. There's about 4 of them that surf. There's a bit of a problem with that though, because you just start talking and then someone catches a wave, and then someone catches a wave. So the actually only value is in the car on the way down and at the bakery. Okay, we've got some strengths though. Despite all those weaknesses, you can always find some strength in especially any sporting organisation, and ours are. The actual sport itself is appealing, and that's why it's become iconic in Australia. So, you know, we're working on the fact that it is actually a really appealing sport, especially to kids. And so the demographic that a lot of marketers want, that's where we fit. It's inspirational, so every time people see, from the mainstream, if you like, see a young woman like this surfing, this girl, when that photo was taken, was 14, nearly 15. And she's our best South Australian surfer. And so, you know, she inspires other girls to have a go, and that's been good. And it also inspires other people to go, oh, I wouldn't mind trying surfing, and so that's a great thing for us. I wouldn't necessarily see people see AFL necessarily. Once you're over 30, you don't get inspired by surfing, but we'll see people who are 50 or 60 come and have a surf lesson. Girls and guys can be part of the same event. That's the great thing about our sport, is that it is, or it certainly lends itself to a family environment, and so that we can play on that and build on that. And learn to surf has become more achievable. It's made it easier for people who aren't necessarily sporty, super fit, super light, all learn to surf, and that it's possible. So it makes that recreation. It's actually become a lot more fun and to learn. It's tension grabbing and colourful, of course, and lends itself to sponsors and photo opportunities. So most people would recognise that logo, I'm sure, as being the Roxy logo, and just about every girl that's under 15 at some point in the last 10 years has probably had a Roxy top, and so yeah, they probably don't need our support now, but we've certainly had some value out of their support. Interestingly enough, Quicksilver were one of the organisations that were first to go down as part of the, I guess, the global issues. They bought a company called Rosignol, and that was on, I think, the basis of loaning money, and of course the cost of the money went up, and so they were sort of hampered for a long while with quite a large debt, and they've ended up selling Rosignol now, and that is the international side of it. In Australia, Quicksilver have always been massive and going really well, but yeah, that did affect them, and it certainly meant that they had to drop the national sponsorship of the juniors